I'm Jane Monzures, host of Creative Living, where we help you live your most creative life. It's Halloween time, and as a big fan of DIY and crafting, I can't wait to share my tips with you. But first, here's what's coming up on the show. We visit a place that's just for makers and has everything from handmade paper items to metalwork. I'll teach you how to make an adorable costume for your little one. Plus, great ideas for that leftover Halloween candy, assuming you don't eat it all. That and so much more on this episode of Creative Living. We are at one of my favorite places, Pinspiration in Phoenix. They take the best of Pinterest, bring it to life so you can make the coolest crafts. I'm with the owner, Brooke. Now, Brooke, I love Halloween, and Halloween is a great time to make something. So we are going to make a Halloween-centric craft.
We are.
What are we making?
So we have this fun googly-eyed spider, and you can really personalize it and make your canvas any color. You can, take it to the next level, if you will. But we wanted a simple craft to show you that, you could do it at home, or even the kids could do to start.
Kids could do great kids craft. So we need a simple, just white canvas. And you've already pre-painted.
Yes, I painted it orange, so it's ready to go.
Okay.
And then we give you a little stencil here.
Okay.
So your next step is going to be just to trace the outline of the stencil with your pencil.
Okay, and so you got the stencil, you just drew it freehand, or you got it online?
Yeah, we printed off an image online, and then we just laminated it so it's nice and hard, and you can trace it easily.
And I'm just going to go right here around the edges.
Exactly, so you get that outline.
And the pencil's good because you're just going to go over it with your embellishments, which in this case are?
Right, so in this case they're the googly eyes.
Love the googly eyes.
Now you can take it to the next level and add a little bling. That's always fun to put some little rhinestones in there. There's a lot that you could do. You could add cobwebs or the little plastic spiders. You could really,
there you go.
Do whatever you like to change it up.
Okay.
So now we've got our outline.
All right, and now we add googly eyes.
So now we're going to add googly eyes, and I like this really nice collage glue. You can see it's thicker than like a white Elmer's glue or school glue.
I'm just going to spread it on here.
Spread it on there.
And this is a really quick and easy craft that you could do with the kids, hang them in the house. Maybe if you're having like a party at your house.
Absolutely, yeah.
And do some of these to put on the walls and change up the theme.
Exactly. So you can really just change it up as you see fit, and you just want to layer your googly eyes all around, give it some nice coverage, and then I suggest a little bit of depth, so maybe putting them on top of each other so it's not just flat and one-dimensional.
Very good, but you can really get creative and do anything you want with it.
You can.
I always say a crafter's house without googly eyes is not a crafter's house.
No, what would we do without these little
Everybody
gems?
needs googly eyes in their life. So we're going to finish up this awesome googly-eyed Halloween home decor, and we will be right back to do another craft that you can actually wear. We found a cool place that's filled with crafters and makers of all kinds. Check out Barnone.
My name is Joe Johnston, and I grew up here on the farm. And the building we're in is one of the barns that was originally on the farm. The name of the project is very interesting. It's Barnone, also Barn One, and also Italians call it Barnone. And you might wonder, well, why didn't we define it better? Well, we wanted it intentionally vague because, as you see, this project has so many different components. It's hard to put it into a box, and we didn't want to box it in and say, well, it's X. We thought actually having a vague name would be more interesting than some sort of concrete name. When we did Agritopia, one of the things we wanted to do was preserve urban agriculture, but also preserve the original buildings that were on site. And this last building, the biggest one, 8,000 square feet, aluminum Quonset hut, built from melted down aircraft from World War II, recycled aluminum. It was only until a couple years ago that we decided exactly what that redevelopment might look like. So I figured let's kind of put it out there to see if there's other people who would like to have very small businesses where they focus on their craft. Within Barnone, there are about 12 different craftsmen. There's 2 micro restaurants. There's the Uprooted Kitchen in Fire and Brimstone, both about 750 square feet, 25 seats in, 25 seats out, BYOB licenses. So there's 12 West Brewing, which is a nano brewery, and there's also Garage East Winery, which is a winemaker and wine purveyor. Then we have got woodworking and paper crafts, so that would be Lettercraft is the woodworking, and then Prickly Pear Paper is the paper making firm. Then there's 2 machine shops. There's my machine shop, Johnston Machine Company, where we would have the highest tech equipment for making culinary inventions. And then my brother Steve has Johnston Arms, which uses the most low-tech, original kinds of machines to make high-end hunting rifles. Then we have 2 services. We have the florist, everybody loves flowers, and we have Wander, which is a salon. We also have the farm store and the barn itself to continue the farming tradition. I come from a long line of engineers, and my great-grandfather started Hobart and KitchenAid, so he was involved with making kitchen-related and commercial equipment. And then I studied engineering, and that was my profession before I got into coffee and then restaurants and then real estate. So it's great to get back to the tradition of designing things. The feedback from the artisans and craftsmen has been great because a lot of them are social and are super proud of what they're doing, and people are automatically fascinated by people making stuff and don't realize that they too can make stuff. I hope this is just an extension with Agritopia of kind of the idea of village life. And in village life, there was the idea of the shopkeeper or the cobbler or these kind of small business people. And this is our version of having those little small main street of cobblers and makers and things of that nature. It's kind of our way of doing that in a modern way.
Here's an interesting fact. Halloween is kind of an Irish holiday. Turns out the people in Ireland thought the ghosts of the dead roamed the earth, so they created a festival to celebrate, and everyone dressed up. Kind of interesting, huh? Here's what's coming up next. I'll show you how to make an easy costume for your little pumpkin. And we'll visit a wine bar that can inspire your own creative design. Dressing up is one of the most fun things about Halloween, but it can be expensive. So let's get creative and make a costume your little one will love. This inventive pumpkin costume is made from a repurposed pillowcase. It's really easy, super cheap, and you can make it at home in no time at all. So let's get started. You'll need an orange pillowcase. You can get one online or steal one from your mom's 1970s linen closet. Green ribbon, black felt, an old folder, chalk, and fabric glue. At the opening end of the pillowcase, cut 2 2-inch slits on the side seam. Now this is where you'll thread the ribbon through the hole and out the other side. It ends up being the neck of the costume. And it represents the stem of the pumpkin. To make the armholes, measure 5 inches from the neckline. And for smooth, fatigue-free cutting, use your Kai scissors to cut an opening 4 inches long. This makes it easy for the child to wear a warm sweatshirt underneath the costume for hours and hours of trick-or-treating. Cinch the top and tie a bow, and we're ready to move on to the pumpkin face. Cut out a stencil drawing of eyes, nose, and a mouth for your pumpkin face. It can be as traditional or funny as you want it to be. I like to use an old folder to make my stencils. Lay your stencils on the felt, trace around them with chalk, and cut them out. Position your pumpkin face on the center of the pillowcase and use fabric glue to attach it. Next, with your Kai scissors, cut the bottom of the pillowcase. That's the end seam where the pillowcase is already sewn together. Fold up the raw edge, iron it flat, and hem it using a liquid stitch or sewing machine or needle and thread. Add a few stitches to gather the lower left and right sides to create a ruching effect for the curve of the pumpkin. There you have it, an easy, inexpensive, adorable pumpkin costume made from an upcrafted pillowcase. The TV show Game of Thrones may be over for now, but you can still dress like your favorite character this Halloween. Check out this new Craft Room Crash. This is Craft Room Crash, and I am in Mesa, Arizona, outside DIYer Melanie Bosley's house. Now, she says Halloween is her favorite time of year because it's the one time of year you can be someone or something else. So let's go crash her craft room and find out what Halloween costume Melanie is making today.
Hi, Jane.
Hey, Melanie. All right. this is your craft room.
Well, this is my craft corner.
This is where you're creating all of those Halloween costumes.
Yes.
So tell me about that. Why do you love Halloween so much?
I love supernatural things, you know, like vampires and werewolves. So it's fun just to be that for a day. It's an opportunity to be unique and just to make something that's just you. Everyone has their own personalities and their own tastes.
I've got to put the Jedi cloak on.
I like to see the individual in everybody. You're almost like a monk. But I come here, I come home, I see everything right there. And to kind of calm me down for the day, I want to create something.
So you're inspired by the Game of Thrones.
The Game of Thrones.
And we're gonna make a crown.
Yes, for Cersei. We're going to be inspired by her, but we're going to change it a little bit so that it is us. Now you'll notice we've added a flair of boho, since boho is a very popular style right now. So we want to cut this to a little more than half of your head, 11 inches right there. So we're gonna cut one for each there. Now to measure out how much hot glue we need, we just use this.
Precise measurements are so
That's no
last
fun.
year. Like, why would we
don't need
exactly measure? Just,
Let's
just
just-
eyeball.
So now we're just going to take one and we're going to start manipulating it into kind of a shape that we want. And we're just going to glue the ends together to start with. Then we're just going to go wherever they connect.
I love this material.
It is fun.
I mean, it looks like metal.
We just need a circle, then we're just going to cut it out.
Is this where I could put some of the, like these types of embellishments if I wanted
You
to?
can put them around there instead of this. So now we have these two separate pieces.
Yeah.
And we're just going to glue them together. Okay. So that's our centerpiece, part of it. So we're going to use this right in the center right here. So we've got to put a little bit on each.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so awesome.
And now we're just going to glue them together. So that is our piece.
That's it?
That's it. We're done.
How does it look? Pretty good. Melanie, thank you so much for showing us how to make these amazing crowns.
Thank you for joining me in my craft.
I'll come to your craft room anytime. Thanks so much to Melanie. Now we all know how to make a crown fit for the costume queen in your life. So that's what Melanie is doing in her craft room. What are you doing in your craft room? I'll see you next time. The term jack-o'-lantern comes from olden times when the night watchman would walk down the street lighting lanterns. Here's what's coming up next on Creative Living. We'll check out a wine bar that's filled with inspiration from travels to Italy. And we're learning how to make a charm bracelet that's Halloween inspired. Sorso Wine Bar is a cozy and cool place to grab a glass of wine and some food. And it's the perfect example of using inspiration to bring a dream to life.
I'm Martine. My wife Lauren and I are the owners of Sorso Wine Room at the Scottsdale Quarter. I played baseball for 12 years, 7 of which in the big leagues. Took us to Kansas City, Chicago, and Toronto, and then a bunch of other small places in between. So that was my wife and my kind of first career. And then baseball actually took us to Italy because I was looking into playing over there just to experience the culture and you know, finish up my baseball career, you know, in a different country. Once we were over there, loved it, loved the culture, and then we ran into this wine bar idea and liked it so much we decided to come back here and start our second career. And Sorso means sip in Italian, and so the whole idea behind Sorso is to provide numerous options, different varietals, help educate people as they kind of taste through different wines and teach themselves, you know, what they might like and introduce them to a few new things. Yeah, so we have over 120 bottles of wine. We have 32 different wines in our dispensing system. We have 14 craft beers and numerous great food items. And with Sorso, we want to provide a place where you don't have to necessarily come in and decide on a bottle of wine right away or even a glass. You can use our dispensing system to, you know, try a few different wines before you decide on what bottle you do want. Our dispensing system is really simple. You just get a card and you stick it in the machine, and then you can select either a sip, a Sorso, or a taste, or a full glass. So it's just a fun, interactive way to try a few wines, and you might open you up to a different type of wine that you might normally not taste. Well, most of our craft beers are local, and yeah, we have 10 different craft beers by the bottle, and then we have 4 on draft. Anything that you try in-house, whether it be craft beer or wine, is available in our market. And we have a few other cool things in the market, trying to support local as much as possible through those items as well. Our menu has really grown into something that, you can come in and have a great meal and share with friends and really enjoy. So we specialize in bruschetta, we have meat and cheese boards, and then we also do a lot of salads and sandwiches, but definitely more than just bites. You can come in and definitely get full. So at Sorso, I offer a private room for private events. We've had everything from a baby shower to a business meeting. So it's just a fun place to host a party. We really tried to create a place that is inviting, welcoming, as if you're kind of coming over to our house to have a glass of wine. And really the vibe is just a loungy, relaxing experience, and somewhere where you just feel like you could really settle in for a few hours.
We are back here with Brooke, the owner of Pinspiration, and not everyone is going to dress up in a Halloween costume or maybe even wear a Halloween costume to work, but you may want to add a little bit of Halloween spirit to your wardrobe. You've got a really cute craft. What are we making?
That's right, a little Halloween bling.
A little Halloween
bracelet.
bling. I love this.
Yes.
So we're jewelry making, basically.
We are, yes. And that's something, I know at my kids' school, sometimes they don't allow you to wear costumes, so it's something a child could make as well as an adult.
Just add a little something to the outfit for that day. Wear your orange and wear the bracelet. So how do we make this? It seems complicated.
It's not too bad. We give you a pattern, and so basically you're following the pattern. Before we started, we secured our jump rings. That was sort of our first step. We opened up the jump ring.
Right.
And the trick with the jump ring is not opening it like this, like so many of us do. We kind of go this way with our pliers, and we secure those to charms. And then we just start stringing along with our pattern.
So we're using the beads,
Yes.
and we're
so
just
we have some black and some orange here. And if
stringing
you want to start
them
with
in.
your black,
Yeah.
that's right. You're going to go right over that.
Okay.
And where
Oh.
you have this little wire,
Yeah.
we can just cut the excess with our flush wire cutters.
Love
And then-
wire cutters.
Yes, they're very handy.
And you have all of that equipment. I don't need to bring anything.
No, you don't. You just show up. We have everything in front of you. We even have a little iPad tutorial that gives you step-by-step instructions. You just get to sit back. You can have a glass of wine, relax. And what's fun too, if you had something else coming up, it wasn't Halloween, and you just wanted to add some different beads, we have an embellishments area at our studio in each store. And you come in and you can change it up. So you can select different beads.
Maybe you want to make something for someone's birthday or for Mother's Day. You have beads for that too?
Exactly, all different colors. So really, you're just limited by your own imagination.
So I would just then sign up, say I want to make a bracelet.
Right, yes. You would still order your Halloween bracelet, but then
Okay.
you could do your own spin
Interchange.
to it.
Wow,
Yes.
this is fantastic. Really fun. What a great thing to do, to hang out with your girlfriends, make a bracelet.
Absolutely.
Get in the holiday spirit.
Right.
I love it. Thank you so much. What a great way to add a little bit of holiday bling to your wardrobe. What should you do with all that leftover Halloween candy besides eating it all? I've got a great idea. I'll show you next. Halloween is an exciting time with all the parties and the prep, but when all the hoopla is over, you're left with a lot of costumes and a lot of candy. So what are you going to do with all those leftovers? Well, I've got some great upcrafting ideas for you. So let's first talk about the costumes. You can create a free cycle, and that is throw all of the costumes in a bin, and then next year, about a month before Halloween, invite all of your friends and neighbors and classmates over, and everyone shares their costumes. That way you're getting a new costume, and it's free. Another great idea, donate your costume to a theater company. They're always looking for great apparel throughout the year. One of the things I love about the fabric that comes along with these costumes is the ability to repurpose it. So let's think about our next holiday, and that is Thanksgiving. You can create table sashes for every place setting. Let's say you make a Halloween pumpkin. You can cut the pumpkin up into strips. You'll want to cut that using pinking shears, or if you cut it with a straight edge, burn the edges so it's got kind of a textured feel. And you'll put your guests' names on all of the sashes and put them on every table setting so everyone knows where they're going to sit at your Thanksgiving table. You You can also create a beautiful centerpiece for your Thanksgiving table. Just cut up and use the costume for maybe a pilgrim or a pirate or even a peasant. Cut that into strips and then wrap it around a styrofoam wreath. You can add embellishments, you could add pine cones, and you've got a gorgeous wreath for your Thanksgiving table. Now, Elsa is the iconic princess from Frozen, so how can you reuse her costume after Halloween? Just create a beautiful holiday wreath. And you're saving money here because of all the embellishments on the costume. You can add those to the wreath. Now, once you've sorted through all of your candy, let's figure out ways to add that to our table decor. On our Thanksgiving table, you can create candle holders using a mason jar and candy corn. You just add the candy corn into the mason jar to hold your candle tight, and you've got a cute and festive candle holder. You can also create sweet treat boxes for everyone at your Thanksgiving table. Just decorate an old jewelry box, fill it with all of that yummy candy, and everybody gets a sweet treat after their Thanksgiving dinner. Another thing that I love is getting the kids involved. So we've got all that gummy candy. Well, you can create gummy bear necklaces, and all you need is a plastic lace and a plastic needle. You're gonna lace right through the gummies, and you're gonna rope them onto the lace necklace, put a little knot at the top, and everyone has a fun, festive necklace to wear. And finally, if you are on sugar overload, freeze some of that chocolate, pull it out in the winter months, and make a sweet brownie treat that the entire family will love. Now, upcrafting all of your Halloween decor doesn't stop with Thanksgiving or Christmas. You can create anything for New Year's or birthday parties or any occasion all year round. Just get creative and have fun with it. We want to thank Pinspiration for letting us hang out and craft. All right, here's one last Halloween tip for you. Serve some punch at your Halloween party and make it spooky. Fill a few rubber gloves with water and freeze it overnight. Cut off the glove and place the frozen hand into your punch. It will keep the punch cold and create that spooky feel. Thanks so much for joining us on Creative Living. If you do something creative, be sure to let me know on Facebook or Twitter, and you can see it featured right here on the show. I'm your host, Jane Monzures. I'll see you next time.